kicking off game number 1 really quickly here. Let's see where we've progressed to so far. And we are already onto Sejuani first pick, which has been fantastic for DNK. Yeah.
All right, so Sejuani coming in from DNK, Wukong off the table. As to be expected, there's been a few jungle bans thrown around, so we're gonna have to see where Levi wants to fall in this place. But I am currently eyeing off mid lane as wanting to see where they fall. Lissandra was huge for Cardi in their last series, and Syndra was huge for Dia1. And honestly, they've been huge for both of these teams. For every team in playoffs. Lissandra and Syndra have had massive performances, 100% win rate for each of them in playoffs. But it's just going to be Zeri locked in for style, looking to play that late game angle.
Yeah, I'm interested about this choice that SBTC made to put DNK on a comfort pick while not really pinching style champion pool. He plays a lot of Zeri, a lot of Jinx, and SBTC he's just letting them open. I am assuming that they have some spies ready for this bot lane. Remember that Slater plays a lot of Saya, a lot of Zeri as well, and not really other champions. He showed a bit of Varus and again a bit of Jinx in the playoff series. But this AD carry position, ooh, that's a Lucian Nami. That's not something that SBTC has played very often actually, this split.
Yeah, that's a very strange pick, but as mentioned, that seems to be the Syndra hover. Or rather the Lissandra, they're looking to pick up something for Cardi right now, take one of those big picks, and then maybe we'll see and then I think mid lane bans will probably be coming out afterwards for the side of GAM.
I'm vomiting right now. I'm throwing up in my mouth as we speak. Why the Lucian Nami? And like, it has not worked for basically anybody for the entire back half of the split. It wasn't even really working for anyone at the front half of the split. Like, why out of nowhere are Slater and Plek going away from what's been dominating for them for the majority of the time in both playoffs and regular season to grab up this duo that doesn't even work anymore?
Right, that's perplexing.
Yeah, so I can maybe my sort of rationale for it, as we see Syndra banned, would be they're looking to try and actually hit that early game point, and once they see that the Rakan is locked in, they know they're not going to lose out too heavily in the early levels against, say, a Lulu, and feel a lot more comfortable trying to play this out as aggressively and try to win early very quickly. But so far only Vit and B have been able to really pilot this to great success within the league, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, so here probably now SBTC, the angle that I would love them to take is try to give now a good counter pick for Dia1. He's excelled at these like battle mages, like the Ryze, like the Cassios, things like this, in order to take an advantage over Kati, because here you cannot give a counter pick to Emperor. He will probably have to play weak side here. There's a lot of champions that are available for him. The Cassandra is still open, the Malphite is still open, the Gwen is still open, all champions that he has been elite at. So there are a lot of options for SBTC to still navigate this draft. However, GAM, of course, they have the counter pick and they want to put it probably into Kiaya's hands.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Alright, putting the pants onto Levi, saying it's your time to shine. We saw a little bit of this out of Drakthar in their series against Wales, and it looks like looks like Levi's been taking notes, so it's time for a very strong mid-jungle duo. And now you have to wonder, where does Dia want to land? I was initially thinking Talia, but maybe I guess this Kindred. Maybe you need something with a little bit more oomph in that mid lane. So it's looking like Ryze right now.
Right. Ryze gets locked in. This makes the first time that I'm correct since 2003, and also the Cassandra, so that makes it double. That's incredible. Now, what does GAM answer? Well, that's immediate. Immediately, like, okay, no, locking in. They still have the Fiora. No, that's banned. The Jace is still open. They go with Ornn. I don't think Kiaya has played any Ornn this split. They're all hovering a lot of like tanks and weak side champions now. Right, this is a bit of an unexpected pick, but makes GAM's composition deceptively well. Not, but it's Sion, but like they tank a lot, and I don't think SBTC has enough damage to contest team fights effectively. This looks like a very comfortable draft for GAM.
Yeah, I'm thinking home run for GAM. Levi's on a really strong carry pick. Zeri will supplement the magic damage, so sort of your low damage Lissandra isn't going to matter all that much. And it means you can't just spec armor into the tanks on Kasante's side, so I think GAM win it.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, do either of you two have any saving grace here for the side of SBTC? Because it sounds like we got a double GAM prediction coming into game number 1.
SBTC might be able to roll an early game and shut a Kindred down and get ahead before Seri can do anything, but I feel it requires a lot of execution.
Yeah, I agree. They needed like a triple lane gap and into quick snowball, but SBTC hasn't done that consistently over the split. So yeah, I mean, there's an angle, but it's very narrow.
Man, y'all of little faith, not putting any effort into the super big time chickens here in game number 1, believing specifically that GAM has levels of dominance.
They should have worked to give us a super big time draft, instead we just got an okay one.
Okay, I think Rise gaps, all right, but you know what? That's not our opinion to really force for. Instead, let's jump it over to the casters, as Carrix and Yulwei are going to be taking up this series real quick.
Well, Yulwei, isn't this a blast from the past? We have me and you on a cast. We have Levi and Dia1 in playoffs as usual. And oh my word, I mean, look, Kindred got picked. It's my favorite champion. I'm already having a great day.
Yeah, what a start to the series. I feel like I have to double down on some of the things that our analysts said there on the draft. GAM almost got their dream scenario here in game number 1, which bodes well for them in the series. I was watching, of course, prepping for this cast, prepping for the series and for the whole finals weekend, watching a lot of GAM games from last week back, and one common denominator in all of their wins actually was the Lissandra. And actually, I just had a quick search through Lissandra stats in VCS playoffs. What do you think Lissandra is sitting at right now?
Probably pretty low. No, really?
She has 7 games, 7 wins. No one has been able to crack the Lissandra cheat code. Actually, globally on 30.
I thought you said Sejuani.
No, Lissandra.
Lissandra, yeah, no, Lissandra is cracked. You're right. Yeah, no, sorry. I thought you said Sejuani, and I got the wrong Freljordian.
It is quite a strong champion, especially for Kati, who has been able to enable the likes of Levi and even his bot lane with a lot of early bot dives. So I'm keeping my eyes on Kati's movement here in the early game. He should be under a bit of pressure. Dia1's Rise is a really strong champion, should be able to at least control him somewhat. But yeah, Lissandra Kindred sounds like the dream combination for this team. Let Kati do the heavy lifting, let Kati do all the engagement stuff, and then Levi just comes in with the better in-fight mechanics, maybe, and clean up the fight and really carry in terms of damage. So I think this combination has worked to a T for them. They are very comfortable playing this style of game with Levi on a carry and Kati on a facilitator and setup champion. So I really feel like GAM has come in with a dream draft here in game number 1.
I think the one thing to keep in mind, there's something to keep an eye on as we go into the game, is that you do have the potential situation of the bot lane for GAM being pushed in. They're fine being pushed in, but they should be pushed. Rise should be able to keep his lane very, very clear as well, which might mean things like this, where Levi gets harassed in his jungle, and DNK puts on a lot of pressure, which should also mean Levi can never cross the river into DNK's jungle, which slows down the marks dramatically. And Kindred, I love her. I love them. Not a champion until 4 marks.
Yeah, I mean, she can kind of skirmish decently into the likes of Sejuani. Now I'm mixing up those two champions as well. Unlucky, too many Freljord champions. But oh, Levi actually in a little bit of a spicy situation. Oh, this is
Yeah,
the
no,
first
he's just
point.
going to go straight in onto Rise. Moving forward. Oh, fails to flash a little bit. Can't get the last auto attack, so the E doesn't go off. Oh no, Levi's misplayed this completely.
The Kindred we haven't seen in a while from Levi, and that was not the look we wanted to see either. That's a very good start for DNK's most played champion, was there to react. We just talked about this. You just brought up the Kindred marks, and look at that. That's first kill against the Kindred and the mark taken away from DNK. So this Kindred off to a really, really rough start in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very, very poor play there. Levi deserves it. Did make the choice to use Porcelain Kindred. Clearly not a real player, but as he moves in, yeah, just gets completely destroyed by Paulette.
The flash was not great, and he thought he had the damage, but he wasn't even close. Look at DR1's HP.
He would have had the damage. If he had gotten one more auto attack, it would have killed. He had the stacks built up of the E. It would have killed with one more auto attack, but he didn't get it.
Okay, if you say so. You are the Kindred main. It looked to me like he was still a bit off, but maybe he actually had the execution. So just a slight mis-execution there, maybe a little bit of jitters. You don't expect Levi to be nervous, really. He has 6 titles under his belt. This isn't really even for the qualification yet. They can kind of afford to lose. And honestly, looking back at last week, the first game, GAM looked very out of sorts. They then instantly came back into the series and dominated the next 3 games. But game number 1, it took them a little while to warm up to the stage. So maybe we're in kind of a similar situation. Of course, we want to see them play better out of the gates. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past GAM to be a little bit subdued in game number 1 and come into their own a little bit later in the series. It's a best of 5. It's a long game to play, and remember, they haven't lost a single series this all year, so no worry, no cause to be concerned yet, but of course not the ideal start.
No, it is not, but this is a team comp as well, where being a little bit down in the early game is not a huge issue. It is just going to be a matter of if Levi can find a way to get his marks, get stacked back up, and be an actual threat come objective time, because I think that's where it really matters how many marks you have. We do see, speaking of objectives, SE will take the first one. No real contest possible here for GAM unless they want to go really crazy.
They are actually kind of fancying it.
Yeah, they think they can get a pick. The dragon is secured. Style moving forward. Slater on the run, flashing away.
Zin.
Now knocked up by Zin. Lovely stuff there. Taking a W from the Zeri. Levi will pick up a kill.
Yeah, I think Levi and Style both really wanted that kill. Style on the Zeri, probably his best champion the whole year. The one champion where I think he's actually better than Slater. So that pick, as well as the Lissandra, actually surprised me to see GAM be given their favorite ADC in game number 1. Just points to a very comfortable draft, but of course GAM finally able to strike back. The dragon still goes over to SE, and this dragon is quite nice, especially for someone like Rice in the mid lane who likes to trade priority for his HP bar. So having this extra sustain through the early Ocean Drake is always a really cool thing to have under your belt. Same for a tank matchup in top lane, and of course the Nami who just perma trades in bot lane as well. So everything going SE's way, maybe not quite as hard as you would like to see, because of course their composition looks a little bit more early game focused, but it is important to stay in the game against GAM. GAM, maybe not the most impressive so far in the early stages of the game, especially if you look at their stats across their 14-0 split, the second best they've ever been in terms of game score, but their early game advantages aren't actually that impressive. They're much more focused on mid and late game. But playoffs, in their one series they played in the 4 games against Cerberus, they actually got off to better early games, on average up more than 1k again, so they're slowly improving their early game again. First objective for SE is to stay in the game and give themselves a chance in team fights against GAM later on. So I feel like for 8 minutes into the game, they've actually achieved this kind of first hallmark.
I agree. Levi as well, he's going to be able to pick up this Rift Herald, so that is going to be more early game gold going over to GAM. Cardi coming up to just make sure everything goes to plan.
Look at the bot side. They are setting up a dive, but very good vision coverage. Very good vision coverage for the side of GAM. They know exactly where they have to defend, and of course, Zin also spotting our DNK here on his warpath. So, no problem whatsoever for GAM to defend against the dive. Style, yeah, he has to see. He gets away there. DNK now in a really awkward position. He needs to evacuate. He has overstayed his welcome.
Oh, but with Dia1 coming down with a Realm Warp, Style forced to ult and run, as SE will retreat back to their tower.
That turned out way differently than I thought. Carty on his way as well, but too far away. Levi also walked down bot lane, and there was a very interesting timing there between GAM and SE. If GAM had been able to delay them for a few more seconds, I think this could have been disastrous for SE, because DNK was in between towers. Both jungler and mid laner from the enemy team collapsed on them in between towers as well. But DNK found the one timing where he actually had the winning play, and they get the flash and the ultimate out of Style. So while there's no kill for SE on the counterplay, when GAM got the top side objective, they at least put a little bit more pressure onto the enemy AD carry. So it's still a very even game.
It also does mean that when the next dragon comes up in about a minute and a half, that flash will still be down. Could let SE get both of those early objectives and get themselves off to a really good start, potentially close the game out with a Dragon Soul. Dia1 needs to be careful. He can smell that something's wrong, and the ward will confirm it.
Yeah, look at all this vision coverage, Carrix. This is VCS in 2023. A few years ago, everyone would have just walked into that bush and died, but we improved so much when it comes to macro and understanding of vision setups. I was already very impressed with the 2 pink wards placed on the bottom side for GAM to be able to defend against the very likely invade on the other side.
And flashing forward, using the ultimate, Kiaya on the run out, and just has to burn his flash as well.
But yeah, now actually take a look at the top lane matchup. We're not really too keen on watching 2 tanks battle it out, but this is not supposed to happen. Look at the CS difference. Kiaya is ahead on the Sion against Kassanti. That matchup is not easy to play for the Sion side of things. Can they get the smite down? This is close. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's going to be really close. That's not going to charge.
Oh no,
Disaster.
GAM. Ay, that's an ego herald there for GAM. Unfortunately, they can't actually pay off with the 2 platings for the herald. So that actually sets them down behind a bit in terms of tempo on the map. Of course, they kind of got this herald for free, if you think back to the sequence a few minutes ago, where it was just the flash paid for the price of the herald on the other side. So in the end, it's not too bad. They didn't actually give up any platings. Ooh, aggressive counterplay from Palette. So it just resets the game to very even game state, 1 dragon for a 500 gold advantage. But now with GAM on the 2nd dragon, they are finally here to dominate the mid game.
I feel like this was a really shocking passage of play by SE. Getting the Herald Smite, like, sort of unrelated to that, they moved DNK down for this gank. They used, like, the Nami ultimate to sort of say, like, ooh, our jungler can't be here because why would I use my ult like that? But now DNK's been here for ages. They've lost a dragon in the meantime.
Yeah, gamble.
If you get 1 kill here, I don't think it's worth the time investment.
Yeah, now it's way too late. Now it's kind of desperation. It's
You're not even going to get it, they're
losses.
just backing.
Yeah, he's doubling down because he's already committed more than a minute of his time to the bot lane, but nothing is happening, so this is a huge loss in time. Now, it is Sejuani, so she can kind of get away with that kind of... Oh, never mind. They actually.
I still don't think that's worth it.
It's not gonna be a positive play, but at least it's now almost an even play. So they still lose the dragon, they still lose a lot of advantages in the bot side, but they do get a lot of gold funneled onto their ADC, and they did pick this Lucian army to dominate the mid game into Zeri from Style. So it's still at least the minimum they had to get out of this play. So they make it work in the end. It's look at the flashes. They needed to make this work. They were instantly ready to invest all their flashes, all their summoners to at least get 1 kill out of this situation, and they do get back to even gold. Losing the dragon after setting up so much for the bot side does hurt them though.
It does. It absolutely does. We did see Levi finishing his Kraken Slayer. Very early mythic for a jungler. Always good to see. I mean, Kraken Slayer on Kindred, absurd amounts of damage.
Yeah,
Can also go Gale Force,
X,
but
I believe. He got
he's
one.
on 3 at the moment.
Yep.
Yep.
So one away from his range extension to actually have the longest range in the game in terms of ADCs at least. Oh, Dia 1.
Dia 1 in some
on.
trouble, locked up by the Lissandra ult. They come in to confirm it. Levi will get another kill.
That was too easy. That's just some Lissandra magic, and not going cleanse into Lissandra has to be punished. There's the most
This is
famous
fourth mark
example
as well.
we can talk about later, but yeah, this is just Lissandra magic, and this happens every game they get Lissandra. This time actually a little bit subdued in the early game. Usually Kati goes out of lane and dives spot lane way earlier, but at least they set it up, and this is exactly why you pick Lissandra Kindred, right? You have the Lissandra to set it up, Kindred to get the last hit, and suddenly your Kindred is accelerated. Your Kindred is already sitting on one mythic item. She's gonna go into Black Cleaver next. So DNK is not gonna have a good time facing off against this Kindred in the mid game.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard. They do have tools to deal with the Kindred. Of course, you can sort of just slap a Sejuani ult in their face, and obviously very hard to assassinate the Kindred because of the ultimate, but you can lower their effectiveness if you just force them to ult and run away. We'll have to see if they can actually do that, or if Kiaya will be standing directly in front of Levi saying,
sure.
"Yeah, have fun." Yeah, he actually got 4 off the Raptor camp that he got after the kill. I've been tracking it. I'm watching. This whole game is just Kindred watching for me. You should know that.
Wait, 5 is insanely good for 15 minutes in competitive play,
is.
no? Yeah, it's really, really strong. So after a horrible start, think back to level what happened level 3 and losing the first mark after dying in mid lane. He's now off to 5 stacks already. So Levi, we know he's just the carry jungler in this league. If you can trust him with anything. He plays your Karthus better than anyone else. He plays your Kindred, of course. And yeah, here he is again. He's ready to carry. This man has 6 titles for a reason.
Play onto the mid lane, onto Style, but of course, it's Zeri. You're not catching her. She's going to E over the wall. They pop up a Herald. This will deal a hell of a lot of damage to tower. They might be able to set up to take it. No, not quite.
Not quite.
Forced back with Levi arriving. Teleport in. This is very deep, very dangerous.
Wait, that was Zin?
Zin. Yeah, he has Unsealed Spellbook. The train arrives as well. They're trying to take down the Cassante. They'll do it as well.
No, Anpa gave them the kill for free. He transformed into squishy form just in front of everybody, and they just killed him almost instantly. He took away his own HP bar. Now the GAM with a huge advantage. They can still dive. They still have Lissandra. No ultimate though, so she can't really do it all too effectively. But that's still mid tower. That is still not a significant gold lead, but considering their composition, they are in such a good position to just play this slowly, play it like 2023 GAM, like an LCK team, and just chill.
Yep. They absolutely can, as Dia 1 got a fair bit of damage down onto the tower, but not enough. Kiaya is there. We'll have to back off with DNK coming up. So this should be a tower back for SBTC, so at least they get something. But now they're on completely the wrong side of the map, but we'll talk about it after the replay.
Okay, yeah, that was a nice Sion ultimate, but honestly, even if Sion doesn't hit, they might be able to chase down this very squishy Cassante. Maybe he gets away, but it doesn't really matter anyway who dies or who stays alive, because GAM won the positional fight and got the tower, which was the main objective there. A kill is nice on top, but of course, the main part there is actually the tower and the map opening up, which instantly results in another dragon. And remember, Levi also gets to free invade yet another stack, so he's on 6 now. One more and he gets another range upgrade to 600. He might have... Oh no, he's on Rises marked. Of course, you can see it right next to his HP bar. But the next mark, I believe, spawns on Dragon, which in this case is really good, because you probably get the Dragon for free. So this Kindred is off to easily get to 7 stacks before the next important team fights. And 7 stacks, 600 range, with an accelerated build path as well. That is going to be very, very hard to deal with.
So 7 actually can still spawn on buffs.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Buffs, Krugs, and Wolves, I think. Because I'm pretty sure 4 to 6 is a bracket. 4 to 7 is the bracket, and then 8+ is all epic monsters.
That's actually kind of annoying, but maybe you can get to 7 with another kill. I don't think GAM is going to play for kills, though. You can already see both teams have resigned themselves to playing a very vision-focused and just positioning-focused game. We are also on the Cloud Rift, so everyone can rotate between lanes much more easily, which makes it harder to really set up the picks effectively, because everyone can escape so quickly and walk between the lanes. So I think this game is going to slow down in terms of just action. We're probably not going to see GAM go for anything crazy. If they find anyone out of position, maybe. But yeah, there's no reason. Oh, there we go. DR1 overextended a bit.
Bad time for me to sneeze as DNK does come over the wall, gets locked up by the Lissandra ulti. GAM not really finding a good entrance into this one, so they are just going to call in Kiaya and back off.
Yeah, you can see both teams know that they shouldn't fight here right now. This is not the VCS of old where everyone just walks into the towers and fights for no reason whatsoever.
Honestly, I can't believe they backed off. What league are they watching?
Yeah, it is. These teams have gotten much better with their restraint, with showing that they understand what they want to play for. Look at Levi's items right now. Levi knows he's very far ahead, but on this item breakpoint, honestly, I mean, he's still very strong, but he probably wants to get to Black Cleaver before he fights a big fight, and he wants one more stack. So they know, okay, we're kind of in between items right now. Same goes for our ADC. So let's just not risk anything here. Let's just not fight a stupid fight. That makes no sense whatsoever. The gold is still very even as well, so you could absolutely lose a fight, especially with Karti overextended and using his ultimate onto DNK as he did in the last fight. So GAM call off the fight. Same goes for SBTC, and both teams back to farming some of their carries to a better position.
I think those were marked Krugs. I think he just hit 7.
Well,
I'm
he
not
has
100%.
gotten every single.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think he might have just got another. I don't use porcelain.
Yeah, it just disappeared. It just disappeared.
Yeah, it's a bad skin. I don't use it, so I'm not 100% sure on the animation for the marks, but I think that was 7.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right, because I saw them mark just disappear from the map. So he should be on 7 now, which means another range upgrade. And if you look at the other side of things on SBTC's composition, they have no range between their champions whatsoever. The only thing of range is kind of the Lucian ultimate poke, which can be annoying for Kindred to deal with, especially around objectives, because she doesn't really go into lifesteal all that much. So she has to rely on heals from taking jungle camps and so on. So that's kind of the only thing I can see that is in favor of SBTC when it comes to standoffs around objectives. So you might just put Kiaya on top of Levi and laugh at the Lucian, because Kiaya is not going to take any damage from this Lucian. So I feel like GAM is still in a very, very comfortable position when it comes to team fights.
Yeah, Levi will have the decision to go. You could go third item Bloodthirster. It's actually got a pretty high win rate if you look at Kindred, but it's just the choice between that and Infinity Edge. And I feel like with this many marks, with this much range, you just go IA every time.
Actually, in competitive, I've seen a lot of people go Black Cleaver into Wit's End. Double defensive, double bruiser
also
items.
The reason I didn't. Interestingly, you normally go Wit's End into Black Cleaver, but it's not that it really matters. The only reason I didn't really bring that up is I don't think Wit's End is very good at this game.
You can see this game is nothing is happening in this game. It's just
bit of a catch onto Kiaya, but this is sort of just a bit of a tickle fight. But they want to turn it a bit more serious. As in goes in, DNK in a lot of trouble, knocked up by Kiaya. Levi will take himself that kill. Dia1 next on the chopping block, taken down by Style. The Cassante goes in to try and save the team. He manages that, but can't save himself. And now GAM turned directly onto Baron, and everything's just gone from bad to worse.
It's just a measure of discipline. Which team can actually play the snoozer more disciplinedly? And SBTC got bored. They thought, there was a Sion, maybe you can get some chip damage on Sion. And Snap Engage comes in. He didn't even use his flash there, just a really good angle with the ultimate and W. And now the game has broken open completely for GAM. They get the Baron, they get 3 kills on this team fight. They will also get another Dragon there. This might just be the end of the game, honestly. Very, very slow, very low action-packed game, but this was the important team fight, and you can't fight at this very juncture. This is too much. There's too much CC. There's too much too many Venn diagrams, too many circles going on GAM's composition. Just can't
8
find that.
stacks. 8 stacks have already been collected by Levi. No joke. Today, I booked a tattoo session to get Kindred's mark on my shoulder. So I'm in heaven right now.
Yeah, and what a game to start the series off, no? Like, it's so controlled, so measured. They got all their favorite champions. I'm still looking at that Lissandra and thinking, okay, SBTC, ban that champion away. Because GAM is now, if they win this game, they would be 4-0 on the Lissandra. Lissandra would go up to 8-0 in the VCS playoffs.
This has to be the last time this split that Cardi's allowed to play this champion.
Yeah,
it's just a mistake not to ban it. It has to get banned every single time.
Yeah, then Kindred, yet another jungle champ, but I don't, even though I know you like the Kindred, and the Kindred has looked good in this game, I don't actually think the Kindred is the deciding factor here. It's just one more carry jungler you can play with the Lissandra, because she enables everything Levi's good at.
Enpa barely survives the bite. But yeah, no, I completely agree. The Kindred, as is actually Kindred's role in... my screen has frozen, so if anything's happening, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this feed, and it does look like they've picked up a kill onto DR1. Apologies, we are having a minor tech issue. It'll fix itself soon. The Kindred, yeah, it's just been a beneficiary of what the rest of GAM's been able to do. But I feel like if you give Carti Lissandra, you basically let Levi just go, which greedy jungler would I like to play today?
Yeah,
He has a very long list of those junglers, and he's a freak at all of them.
Yeah, we have so many options there. Like, he can go AP, but AP is not very good with Lissandra, so he's probably gonna go... he can go Lee Sin, because Lee Sin is insane. He can go heavier carries like Kindred. He could go into even Graves before the buffs. I mean, it's Levi, he can probably do it. He can go Hecarim if he wants, Talon. Like, everything is possible for Levi, as long as he gets enabled by Carti.
Oh, and we're back. There we go. Sorry about that. We were having just feed issues for a moment. As you can see, the mid inhib has gone down. GAM managing to use their Baron to push that into to about 2.5 minutes on the next Dragon. GAM are on Soul Point, of course. Could move themselves up to get a Cloud Soul. Pretty useful for their team comp, particularly for Style. He'll absolutely love the extra movement speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to have. It's also really nice for Levi to have extra range and movement speed to kite. Like, the enemy team is already struggling with his range. Now you give him extra movement speed, so how will you ever be able to shut down Levi? Look at his stats. He died once in this game, and that was only on him. There was nothing the enemy team did to kill him. He killed himself, flashing into a really bad position in the mid lane. And afterwards, has not even been close to dying. I don't even think he had to use his ultimate, really, to protect himself in any of the fights. So it's an unbelievably comfortable game. It's probably the best Kindred game you've ever seen in terms of how easy it is to play Kindred into this composition. And to me, it all comes down... yes, there has been a significant thing about execution of this game too, but it actually comes down mostly to draft. I want to see a hugely different draft in game number 2.
Yeah, they're going to try and turn it around. Enpa, the target of the Lissandra ult, probably not the best decision ever. He was able just to dash out, still on half health. Kiaya, brick wall, gets stunned up for a moment, but is not even slightly afraid. But now, with camps respawning, GAM will just turn around and go savage themselves some more gold, have a reset, and get ready for the next objective.
Yeah, and there's so little to talk about in this game because SBTC is honestly barely playing the game. Their champions are on the Rift, but they're not really doing anything. Honestly, they can't at this point. They're just hoping for an overstep for GAM. They can't really contest them at anything. They don't have the greatest engage. I mean, they're playing Nami, so all the engages on their on their 2 tanky champions, but they're so easy to kite, and the enemy team also has an unbelievably strong Sion to just head them off. Just stand in the middle of the team fight and nothing is going to happen. So honestly, at this point, SBTC is probably thinking about the next draft, is thinking about adaptations they can make, maybe try to put Levi on a normal champion in the meta. His Wukong is insanely strong, but maybe not as strong as his Kindred, you never know. And, of course, look at that bot and mid lane, because those champions are way too comfortable. And GAM has shown once again today that they can play these champions and these compositions to perfection.
The interesting thing is I unless I misread some things in the draft, I think Syndra was available. That's what something Marby
She
was talking
banned
about.
second phase, I believe.
Second phase, yeah. So I think you could have potentially picked up a Syndra for yourself. Dia1, as you and I certainly know, is an absolutely incredible Syndra player. I would have liked to see him moving over towards that, and I still think you just have to ban Lissandra every single time. Sure. Dragon Soul secured. Levi.
Here we go.
The outskirts. Here they go. Moving in. The initial play is onto the Cassante, and they've got the damage to take him down. Dia1, next target, will go down to the Zap of Star. Levi over the wall, throws down the respite. Doesn't even need it, though, as he's just carving through the Mule Way. They're moving over onto Slater. He's next. Cardi will get that one. 4 members of SE have been taken down, and unfortunately for DNK, he's going to be, much like he has been the rest of this game, completely invisible as GAM take the Nexus.
The game is over. GAM has locked this game up. 10 minutes ago, we already knew they would win this game. It's finally over. It's not...
They actually don't have a wave. They're not going to finish.
They might not be able to finish, but the game's still over. The point still stands. This game is unsalvageable for SBTC. The Lucian army, once again, looking like the wrong choice, unfortunately. You can't really blame Slater and Palette too much. I think individually their play has been okay. Their bot lane synergy, their laning phase was alright, but in team fights has just not been able to accomplish anything. And unfortunately, it's once again going to go down. Oh, GAM
this is a little bit dangerous. Yeah, Levi doesn't have Lamb's Respite, but he is healing. It does get the smite as well. And DNK, he was a hero to stop the wave, but he can't take the Baron. Dia1 in trouble, gets over the wall, but there's a claw following him. That's another kill for Levi. Eating well tonight. Death has come, and it's hunting SE as he picks up a double. And it might take 2 rounds. It might take 3. Who knows? But I think GAM have well and truly locked up this game.
And Levi came in today and said to Hanke, look, I know the meta is Vi, I know the meta is Sejuani Maokai, but come on, I have won 6 titles, I'm gonna win my 7th title this year, you pick me and a champion I can carry with. And Hanke said, yeah, alright, take the Kindred, we get Lissandra, and here we go, Levi's first game in the winners bracket final ends with 6-1-7, maybe 1 or 2 more kills.
I think it might go a little bit higher. Is in goes in. Lovely Rakan play. They find their way onto Slater, take him down. This Lucian has done nothing this game. An absolute shocker of a pick and a play from the bot lane of SE. But who cares about the SE bot lane right now? Let's talk about this triumphant GAM as once again they're in the base. They're fountain farming SE, and they will take down their biggest rivals in game number 1.
That game was way too